Let's talk about residential versus commercial. Because oh, by the way, this is small. I'm going to read it out to you. It's not in your book. You can write it down. But this is why I want to talk a little bit about this, because some of you are saying, now, by the way, these techniques work with every single type of real estate, whether it be residential or commercial, notes or REOs, everything. Self-storage, apartments, residential care facilities, a 3-family, a 2-family, a 1-family. It works with all of that. But this is why I would like you to consider going big. Now, the popular myth is, and I'm sorry, this is small. Popular myth is to start at residential. Now, residential will take you far longer to reach your goals. That's not a myth, that's just a fact, okay? Flipping houses will make you flipping nuts. Right? Oh yeah. Listen, flipping houses, buying houses, in my opinion, is speculation. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you are determining that this house is worth a certain amount based on a comparable house that's next to it. That's why you've decided it's worth something. The problem is there are flipping crazy people out there that will continue to buy properties higher than they're worth. If you buy based on income, which is what you do when you buy commercial, you are so much safer. Because if something were to happen and you bought that property and it was cash flow positive, if something were to happen, you're safe because you can keep running it because it's income positive. When it's comparable, if that market drops, you're in trouble. And it doesn't matter if you rehab it from the studs on up. Now, I'm not saying that it's not a good business to get into. If you've got to get into a business, then, maybe do, residential. But it's, people think that commercial, just because it's bigger, is less safe. It's not true. It's actually safer because you're buying based on income. And that's why I want to tell you, and I want you to circle this like 3 times, buy based on cash flow. Positive cash flow. That will save you. Now, flipping houses is like buying a job. It's way riskier than multi-units. You can't afford a manager. The manager doesn't care about you. I got news for you. But I got news for you. On 100 units, my managers care about me because I'm their job. You see what I'm saying? They're not going to, people care about their job. They don't care about your little puny house, because it's not their job. It's not enough money. They're not, this is livelihoods. And that's another thing that you should think about when you're doing this business, commercial, and you're creating jobs. You're creating livelihoods. I now have about 40 employees. And the reason why they have a job is because of me. And that's also a great feeling. So your manager doesn't care. It's very difficult to scale up. How are you going to take house, and scale it up? But you take one 100-unit apartment building, done. I know people who just, in fact, on the mastermind, Cheryl was saying, all I want is just one big property because that's all I need. One big deal. Done. Close the door. Great. Close the 100 doors. But you don't have to close them because someone's going to do it for you, which is even better. By the way, it's easier to even get financing for larger deals. Because banks, it's so much work right now for banks to do a small loan that they don't even want to do them. But a $3 million loan, when they're getting, a $60,000 paycheck, they'll do them all day long, right? If you lose one tenant, you've lost all the income with residential. If you lose one tenant on my buildings, I'm braced for it. I'm ready for that. I'm used to it. Doesn't affect me, Multi-units are economies of scale. If you have a 30 unit and you lose one tenant, you're fine. The other thing about the 30 unit is my manager doesn't have to go to 30 different houses all for the place and fix those houses one at a time, tinker, tinker. They're tinkerers to begin with. Keep them on one property, you know. One thing I found out, like I was at one of my properties, 276 units, and I'm watching the maintenance guy lumber over to the next thing. Oh, forgot a screwdriver. Back to my little hut. You know, this is 17 acres. You know, like, what do you get accomplished? You know, so I got him a little golf cart, you know, and I'm like, okay, here's where your tools go. They go in the golf cart, drive around, you know. And he's like, yeah! Like, yay! He's so happy, you know. Now he's a wild guy driving around in his golf cart. Woohoo! You know, he's total Southerner too, you know, like, of course. Anyway, he was so excited when I got him. It was like Christmas. And what did I just do for myself? Now he's getting real work done. Before he was, you know, he's got his big belly too, you know. His little pants hanging down. I couldn't even watch it anymore. I mean, that was half the problem. No, don't bend over again. How do people not realize that their butt is hanging out? Like, that's just disgusting, you know? Anyway. All right. By the way, I got like little tails hanging out here because of these microphones. So there's a antenna tail, which I'm not used to. So that's the thing that's hanging down. Here we go. All right. Next, so why buy commercial? You can do multi-million-dollar deals right away. You can do no money down deals, period. I do not have money in my deals. I bring in investors, or I've done quite a few very creative deals with the banks where they've actually pulled back all the financing, basically. And I'll work through some of those deals. Get immediate cash flow. The immediate cash flow comes from the positive cash flow, and that goes into your pocket and allows you to quit your job, your job, just over broke. Let's quit it. Let's get out of there. I mean, it was funny. See, I love masterminds because I learned so much from them. So yesterday was a very enlightening day for me too, even though it was meant to be enlightening for the people who went, and I hope it very much was. But I also was enlightened by a few things, and by many things, actually. But one of the things that I thought about was, holy crow, I retired at 36. Woo! Now, I work hard at what I do, so I'm not totally retired, but it's because I'm always talking to you guys. If I stopped talking to you guys, I would be like twiddling my thumbs, like, what do I do now? Got to figure it out, you know? And when I'm talking to you and when I'm buying deals and when I'm doing deals, I don't feel like I'm working. When I was talking to those huge musician people yesterday, 7 of them, I'm like, oh my God. That was not work for me. That was fantastic, you know? Fantastic. How neat is it? So it did really dawn on me that, well, you know, because I never really thought of myself as retired because I do work a lot. But tomorrow, if I didn't feel like speaking to you guys, I wouldn't have to. But I love speaking to you guys, so I would. It's very fun. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I need to speak to someone because, as many of you know, and you're going to meet him tonight, so don't say this to him. You will get me in trouble. But my husband has no interest in this at all. If I say real estate, it's done. And he will actually. I never talk about real estate with him ever. And if I do, he'll be like, I'm just not interested. Which you think is mean. It's not. It's fine. I love the fact that he is out of my business. I love it. And I get to talk to you so much that I'm talked out by that point. Who cares? And again, and some of you know this about me, it's kind of fun when your partner doesn't know how much you're worth. I mean, I'm going to say again, sugar mama or sugar daddy up. Really. Like, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it because it's wicked fun. It's wicked fun. I mean, my husband needs to contribute about 10%, and I contribute the 90%, and it's all taken care of from that point on. And how fun, you know? And for you, I mean, it's fun. It's fun. You can tell your husband or your wife everything, and I'm sure many of you are partners, and that's a wonderful thing. But it's not a bad thing if your spouse is not into it, or your best friend, or your partner in life. It doesn't matter. Don't be so focused on that. Plus, you know what's really cool is you can pick your partners based on their strengths. You know, you already picked your husband or your wife, and they may not be strong in, you know, different areas, you know. So it's okay. And for those of you who are with your partner and you're hanging out and you're together, that's awesome too. That's great. But don't feel the need that. Maybe you can come out and speak and be able to talk to other people that way. Come to these events. By coming in this door, everyone is excited to talk about real estate. By coming in this door, I know you won't fall asleep on me when I say real. And that's a great thing.